Welcome once again to the BBBOTS audience show. Can you believe it's our 5th show already? Unbelievable. Anyway, we've got, before we discuss the tonight's E4 show, I don't know if it's still Dracky, Racky. I'm still not sure. We'll discuss it a bit later on. But let me introduce tonight's guests. We've got another Big Brother winner, our 3rd in 3 shows, and that is Chloe Wilburn, from winner of BB16. And we've also got, I know he's never short of an opinion, we've got from BB9, the one and only Luke Marsden. Big applause for Luke Marsden. Welcome, welcome. Now, before we discuss tonight's show, I'm going to go a bit off pitch because we've got someone else who's joined us tonight, and this makes a real change because it's our studio floor manager, Bronwyn Murphy. Bronwyn, it is really weird saying welcome to the BOTS audience show, because usually you saying that to us. So the first thing I'm going to say to you, Bronwyn, is in the unlikely event that we need to vacate the Zoom room, leave by the door. It's great to see you, Bronwyn. Tell me, Bronwyn, for anyone that doesn't know, Bronwyn has probably worked with everyone from Ant and Dec to Graham Norton to, if they've been on telly, you've worked with them. Is that correct? Bronwyn.
Right, that's how old I am, yeah.
and tell me, how are you managing now that a lot of the studios are shut at the moment? Are you still got shows you can work on?
No, I'm very bored and very skint.
Are you? Okay. Well, you're not going to get any money tonight either, so put you there.
I'm sorry, we're not being paid for this. What is this?
But it's lovely to see you, Bronwyn. I'm sure you're not going to give too much away, but obviously the one question I want to know: who is the biggest diva you've worked with over the years?
Oh.
What can you tell us? What can you tell us?
Biggest diva?
Yeah.
One of those. Like I'll never work again.
Well, I knew you weren't going to answer that. I knew that.
I thought you were going to ask me who is my favourite Big Brother presenter. Also, never going to be able to answer that.
Bronwyn, who would you want to work with?
That I haven't worked with?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey, that's a good question. Oh my goodness, I can't think of anyone.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, Bronwyn, I've got a suggestion. Stick to being a floor manager. How's that? Because that's your best job. I think that's what you're best at.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
No, thank you, Bronwyn. Lovely to see you. So let's go and straight away discuss tonight's show. Luke Marsden, I saw you were tweeting earlier. Perhaps you can tell me, is it Dracky, DR? Is it Racky? Because we know it's certainly not Jackie. Luke.
For me, Paul, I think it was Racky. I think there was an R there. I felt like that's what I was picking up when I saw her come in. I mean, the woman, I was literally, I don't cry easily, and I was welling up with laughs. I mean, the last time I cried was back in 2008. Yeah, well, there's plenty of reasons. I mean, there's only one winner on this one, put it that way. But still bitter, 12 years on, I'm not. But yeah, no, I found her to be, clearly, her US agent has told her she's about to go in a house full of intellectuals. Bill Gates.
Crystal chandeliers and crystal chandeliers.
Yeah. Don't forget the harp.
Champagne for dinner.
I know. It was a good show tonight, wasn't it? It was a very good show.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I mean, our dear old mate from BOTS, the late John McCreary, what anyone thinks of him, I thought he was great. I always loved him. He was so friendly whenever we saw him in the studio, and he was just
such a shame to see Jermaine go.
What was that, John?
It was such a shame to see Jermaine go. She is a wonderful woman, and I wish she had stayed, because she would have really stood up to Jackie. I wish she had stayed.
She's got so much to give. Everyone's got so much to learn from her.
Yeah,
we don't like walkers.
Yeah, I mean, that said, she did quit and was paid a fortune, I imagine, still with quitting. So, no great loss. You know, and does she still, what does she do, Jermaine Greer, these days? I tweeted that. Is she still a thing? What does she do?
I don't know. She must be even older than me, Luke, I think.
She lives very quietly in the countryside.
I think she's right.
Would we ever have thought that we would see bears rubbing Jermaine Greer's shoulders? That, to me, was like a weird one.
And that's
Chloe Wilburn, you were probably too young for that series, weren't you?
No, I definitely remember that series. I'll tell you the funniest bit then that just had me laughing my head off. When John's going into the diary room about his Coca-Cola, and he said, you've got to do it politely. You've got to be polite. And he's like, where's my Coca-Cola? I've just been wetting myself. It was in my year, actually, because in my year they did, they brought people back. I don't know if you remember, Ashleen came in, and John came in, and I was petrified, but he's going to scare the life out of me. He was genuinely one of the nicest guys.
So Luke, has anyone got any other comments on tonight's show before I ask Luke about BB9?
No, carry on, but let's find out more about these guys.
Yeah.
Carry on. Anyone?
I was just going to say about John McCraig being like carrying on from what Chloe said, how he's a lovely guy. Because remember on BBBOTS, he'd always say, "No, boo me, boo me." For some reason, he always wants to play the villain, but deep down, he's actually a lovely, warm, caring guy.
Yeah, but you know, Booby was not. She wasn't called after boobies. She was called after.
We want the boo.
No, boo me. You wanted boo. Boo me, not booby.
Do you know, once I saw John McCreary in a restaurant, and if I see a celebrity in a restaurant, I would never usually go and say hello or anything like that. I think they should have their privacy. But he actually saw me and came over, and we had a chat because he knew me from BBBOTS.
Awesome.
And he was actually the nicest man you could have met. He was so friendly.
A lot of the time it is a character, and you know, like they start to become the character, but it's not when you actually see them privately.
Pantomime.
Not the same.
It was always very different, because when you were in the studio, you used to see what they were really like. You know, on camera they were completely different, but he stayed the same. Whatever he did, he used to always come over to us and and chat to us. It was lovely.
He had a character that you love to hate him.
Yeah.
You had that love hate.
Yeah.
When they come into the studio, because I think when they would walk out from the dressing room, the BOTS studio, they would put on a performance for you guys. Sometimes, not saying John was great, but sometimes they could be really miserable backstage.
Wow.
You guys are like, show me.
Oh no, I hate that saying.
There you go, auditions done now. Terrible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I tell you what, Caprice earned a few bob for a day's work, didn't she?
Oh, didn't she just?
Oh, yeah.
God knows how.
Jealous again, man. Jealous again.
It really was. So let's go to Luke and BB9. I was actually there in the crowd next to Davina because I was actually being paid by a foreign television crew who had just bought Big Brother, and they wanted someone to sort of show them the ropes and tell them how it worked. And it was actually your year, Luke. So that was the only time I was in the crowd. So I remember seeing you very vividly going in. And let me ask you this, Luke. Is it fair to say that you went into Big Brother a boy and came out a man?
20!
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, I mean, first of all, I just want to clarify, because a lot of people think that I went into Big Brother as a virgin, so I will reiterate again 12 years later that was not the case. Yes. That, you know, I got more than I bargained for. I think I said that in my eviction interview, you know. She was quite a handful, to say the least. And I think that and Chloe, I think, would be able to relate to this. You know, ex-housemates would be able to relate to it in the sense that even though, especially in Chloe's year, you know, the people know what Big Brother was at that point. Channel 5's version was obviously very different to Channel 4's version to an extent, but I didn't genuinely watch the show that much. I think I tweeted the other night that Nikki Graham's year was really the only year that I watched it that much. So I kind of didn't really quite understand what I was letting myself in for. So I think it's safe to say that I went in one person and actually came out somebody else.
Yeah. You're probably too young to remember the other series.
Yeah, I mean, that, Paul. I mean, you know, and the fact that I feel like it just wasn't for me. In fact, I infamously said no, and it's been quoted back to me repeatedly. In fact, the other night when I did a radio interview, I said on the Audition show that I thought Big Brother was just a bunch of freaks and wannabes. Obviously, I went on the show.
Michelle, have you got a question for Luke, Michelle?
I have. So, obviously only watching it really that one series, what made you want to go in? And also I want to know what you went through once they said to you, do you want to join us? Do you want to be a housemate? What was the process?
So I went, if I'm blunt, I went in to pay my student loan off, and that worked. So that was that. And my friend sat in my mum and dad's house. I lived with my parents back then, and he said, "Oh, Luke, me and my girlfriend are going to go audition for Big Brother this Sunday." I was like, "God, the show's dreadful. It's horrendous. Did you see that girl 2 years ago, that Nikki woman? Horrendous." So I was like, I'm never going to go. And he went, "Oh, you should come. You'll get on." I was like, "I don't think I'll get on this show." And I went to the audition. I queued up 4 hours in Manchester, and he texted me saying, "Oh, we're staying in bed." And I was like, "Are you joking?" I thought, well, I'm already here, and I was queuing up next to two twins who were strippers, I think they said, as the profession. And then I met a few other people, and 4 hours got through to the next round. I got through to about 4 or 5 rounds that day. Long story short, 6 months later, I continued to go through the audition process purely because I wanted to see how far I could get. I thought, what is the point where they say, "Luke, no, you're not going to get on the show"? And the moment that Sharon Powers, I don't know if any of you guys have met.
Oh, yes.
Sharon Powers. Yeah, so Sharon Powers, I remember I was in France in hiding with 2 of my chaperones, and they left the mobile phone in the car, and we was at some sort of version of French Go Ape, which, by the way, French Go Ape, no crash helmets or anything, just free for all. No health and safety, the French, they're not bothered. So we were doing all this, and they got absolutely bollocked from Sharon Powers because she'd been contacting them about 12 times. Anyway, I remember her vividly saying, "It's not you're going to be a housemate." The question was quite clear. It's, "Hi, Luke, it's Sharon. Do you want to be a housemate?" And obviously I realised, well, hang on a minute. I've just gone through 6 months of probing, psychological checks, clinical checks. I'm in the middle of nowhere with these 2 guys in France. I'm like, what? Of course. So I was like, "Are you joking? Who's going to say no at this point?" I said yes, and she said, "Great, we'll see you in London tomorrow." And they took me back to London the next day.
Brilliant. Denise, you got a question for Luke? Denise?
I have, Luke. How do you find Coventry?
Oh, I hated it. I mean, I have put a self-imposed ban on Coventry now. I'll never go back.
Coventry?
No, to be honest, Coventry was a nice city. It's the people in Coventry I'm not keen to see again.
Bar me.
Bar you. If I'm ever in Coventry, I'll look you up. But I do try to avoid the Midlands in general for fear now of running into anybody.
Karen Cummings, have you got a question for Luke? No, Karen?
Can't hear you.
I can't hear me.
No, you can't hear Karen.
Okay,
Karen.
I think we'll go to Sheila and then maybe Karen.
Sheila.
Luke?
Yes.
I'd really like to know if Lisa Appleton has actually become more eccentric when she was on the programme with you?
I mean, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. I mean, the thing with Lisa is, right, I mean, she is a train wreck. There's no doubt about it. And I've said this to her. She is a car crash on top of a car crash now. And that's I mean, that genuine, and that isn't me being a keyboard warrior or being mean. I've said this sort of stuff to her. I mean, at the end of the day, her career, it never took off, and then she jumped off a cliff. And I think the problem we have with Lisa is that they were I love Lisa as a housemate. I loved her. To be in there with her, I thought she was fantastic, a really nice woman. She still is. I lost touch with Lisa a few years after coming out the house because she took a different path into how she felt celebrity was going to be. Lisa just wants to be famous. She still wants to be famous. She'll try anything. Somebody told me the other day, she's bringing out a cookbook. Who the hell is going to buy that? Who's going to buy that? Seriously, cooking with Lisa Appleton. I mean,
John Cross.
Yeah, look, you said you weren't really interested in the show at the start, and then you went to the audition. And I've been watching you on Twitter recently, and you're posting a lot about Big Brother. Would you want to see it come back? And if you would want it to come back, in which format would you want it to come back as? The original, or what it was like in the later stages?
No offence, Chloe, definitely not the Channel 5 years. They euthanized the show, let's be honest.
Yeah, William.
And I think, John, yes, I would like to see Big Brother come back, but I wouldn't like to see it come back unless they agree to bring it back into what it
original.
So we don't want your filters and your Snapchats and your girls that can't move their lips and tits that are stuck on. We don't want any of it, right?
I only heard the word tits. I didn't.
It is past 10 o'clock. We can say tits, can't we now?
Yeah.
Watershed.
You can say anything. After Pete Bennett, you can say anything on this show.
Tuesday.
Bronwyn, have you got a question, Luke? Bronwyn?
No, I was going to say, I've got the answer to the first question you asked me. I want to work with
Luke's
TV show, right?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Let's put that out there.
Yeah, I think that ship sailed regrettably, but
No, don't say that.
Never too late.
Right,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Karen.
Yeah.
Karen, yeah.
Can I quickly do my question now that I fixed my mic?
Go ahead.
Yeah, to both housemates and really maybe to Bronwyn as well, because she may be part of that. When you guys left the house, did you steal any souvenirs from the house?
Ooh.
And
Question.
and if so, what did you take?
Do you want to answer,
I've got
Lou?
some questions right here.
Chloe?
So I took, you know the name tag?
Contraband.
Mine's not as good. Mine's rubbish now. I literally just stole task props. I had this thing in my head. I was constantly thinking, it was like, if I give this back, I'm not going to win. I'm going to get kicked out. I've got to keep it. I just had this like paranoia, and I just kept stealing all sorts. I've got keys. I've got a whole box somewhere. I should have dug it out of just task props that I've slid in my knickers and stole.
Yeah, but you've got a lot more, Chloe, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
And I took, do you remember the head of house task where we had to all put suits on? It was me versus Darnell versus Dale, and we all had to give speeches. I wore a green tie. I took that tie, so I still have the green tie.
Corinne, have you got a question? Corinne?
Yeah. I just thought, if you, well, for both of you, for Chloe and Luke, really, if you were invited to go back into the Big Brother house and you graciously accepted, and it was, say, a celebrity Big Brother house, who would you, each of you, like to, if you had the choice of picking one celebrity to be in there with you, who would you choose?
Anyone.
Okay, I think, and this is a bit left field, and people think I'm taking the mick, but I'm a massive Susan Boyle fan. Like, I absolutely love Susan Boyle.
Nothing wrong with
so, I would like to be in there with her. I'd love to be in there with Susan Boyle. I think the woman's fascinating. I think her story's fascinating. I think she's got a fantastic voice. So, I mean, like Jackie says, we just want some herps playing in there, a bit of champagne, a bit of Steve I dreamed a dream.
I don't think it'll be as calm as you think that there.
No. Same question to Chloe. Chloe, who would you like to go in there with?
If we were going back to an old celebrity housemate, none of you are going to agree with this, I don't think, but it was my favourite celebrity housemate ever, Perez Hilton.
All right.
Do you remember that?
You wouldn't go back there.
That was one, but if it was somebody who's not done it before, just any celebrity, I think I'd go Paddy McGuinness.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, what about BRONWEN? You've worked with a lot of people, you've worked with a lot of celebrities. If you were invited to go into the Big Brother house and you did go, which celebrity would you like to go in with?
Good question.
I'd want to go with someone like Christian Slater so that I could log him.
Oh, I lock the door. Knock him out.
Right?
Lock the door, knock him out.
Rob, have you got a question for the guys? Rob?
Yeah, Chloe, to start with, I believe that you're the only ever housemate that's gone in first and into an empty house and been the last one out in any series. I may be wrong.
Ooh, I don't even know that myself, you know. I was first in, last out, but I don't know if it's happened before.
Well, I remember the night that you won, because the skies opened, there was thunder and lightning, and they brought you out of the house, and then you and Emma had your stilettos in your hands and ran back across it as the lightning was hitting the scaffolding round the house and back into the house to have a dry interview, and we all had to go home.
Yeah, it was crazy, weren't it? Absolutely crazy.
I
can see all my friends in the audience, and it's just mad. Like, what are you all doing here? It's just a surreal.
Oh, yeah, they spent the afternoon doing sausage rolls up and down Tesco car park.
Was that for Lisa?
Sheila, did you have a question for Sheila?
Could I speak to Chloe, please? I've got a question. Chloe, you were obviously very close to Joel, I think.
Yeah.
Very good friends. You obviously cared a lot about each other. Did you ever actually keep your promise and buy him a scooter, a Vespa?
No, I didn't, Sheila. So when I'd come out of Big Brother, that very same night when I met my family, it turns out that Joel's family and my family had some issues, and Joel's mum had been saying really mean things to my mum.
Yeah. Wow.
And his mum had been really nasty about me, and we had a little bit of a falling out from that night onwards, and I don't think I've spoken to Joel since, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
Chloe, you never got on the BBBOTS. Did you miss that? Or do you know, as a regular guest, a lot of housemates did. Why weren't you asked? Do you know?
Do you know why I think it was? Do you know when you come out, if you get into the final, you all probably know this, you get I don't even know what they're called. This is how out of touch I'm with this. Is it a PR person?
Yeah.
An
agent type thing.
I had a guy, I think his name was Guy. I'm not too sure, but I literally said to him, thank you so much, but I'm really not interested. Because he was like, this is my number, and I just said, I'm probably never going to call you. And I left Big Brother on Friday. I had Saturday, Sunday off, and I went back to my 9 to 5 in the office on the Monday.
No.
Obviously, I don't really
joking.
Right. Yeah.
I think Big Brother got that vibe. I would have done it, though, because obviously I owed so much to Big Brother, it changed my life. It's not that I shunned it. I just wasn't going to try and toe that Z-list, you know, get on that train. It just, I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere, so I just didn't try.
So Chloe, sorry, I'm not over that. So sorry, you won Big Brother on the Friday and went back to work on the Monday.
Unbelievable.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Are you still in the same job now?
Still at the same place now, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, girl.
Sorry, that is absolutely, that is.
Thank you. They thought I wasn't going to go back, to be fair, but now looking back, I could kick myself because I just think, why didn't I just go on holiday for a week? I had the perfect excuse.
At least a week, you know.
That is, honestly, Chloe, that is some serious credit where credit's due, because actually I don't think that obviously wasn't reported that much. I certainly didn't know that. I think that is some serious credit, because there were a lot of people a lot of winners, in fact, who go on to try and make something. A lot of people who, you know, milk it 12 years on. But I think that that is serious credit where credit's due to you, yeah.
Thank you.
Right, Daniel, did you have a question?
Yes. So I have 2 questions. Now, this one, I want honesty, okay? Be completely honest. If you went in, but this is to Chloe and Luke, if you went in and someone said after a few days, you can have maybe 70, 80% of the winning prize, but you had to leave the house, or you do the whole experience and either win it or come out of nothing, would you take the money or would you want to do the experience?
Is this after we've both already been in, or before we'd ever done it?
You've gone in, but like within say 2 or 3 days, there's a task, and they say, like, you know, you can take say £40,000 now, but then you have to leave as a housemate, or would you rather do the whole show?
Go on, Luke.
Honesty.
I think if you were asking me pre-Big Brother, so before I've ever done the show, that question, I would have gone, oh my God, absolutely, for the experience, you know, it could just be incredible, I'm sure. However, now, with a mortgage, I can safely tell you that I would leave the house happily, whatever period they want, with X amount of money. I think, you know, I'm asked quite a lot by people, oh, would you have gone back into Ultimate Big Brother? You know, they didn't choose anybody from BB9 in the end, although I did get a phone call from Sharon Powers about it. And ultimately, it was going to come down to the money. Everybody who did Ultimate Big Brother, it was coming down to the money for them, because it was a cash cow at that point that was about to be shot. Obviously, Channel 5 then resurrected it and stuff. But yeah, Chloe, I'm guessing you was probably for the experience.
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know why I applied and what it was with me? When we left school, so my friends, they all went to university. Now they've all got really cool jobs, working in London and stuff, and I just thought, I am never, the furthest I'm ever going to go, you know, is on a hen do, or, you know, I'm not going to ever go get my hair dreadlocks and go travelling around Thailand. So this came up, and I thought, oh my God, this is literally the coolest thing I'm ever going to do in my life. And you can't undo that. This is an experience I will never, ever, you'll never get anywhere else. Well, you know what I mean? You can't buy it. You can't put, but the money was a bonus.
Yeah, you know what's unbelievable? You know what's unbelievable, Chloe? What I was reading up before tonight. We had Liam McGough on last night, and he won £100,000 on BB8. But I believe you are the highest cash-winning Big Brother housemate of all time, because and
you know what, guys? I've got every penny.
Fantastic. It was over 120,000, wasn't it? Including the 5,000.
121,000.
Yeah, £100, I believe.
I'd have loved to have gone and got myself these amazing blow-up boobs and big lips, but I think my mum would have killed me. So yeah, I paid my mum's mortgage off, and as of now, I've still got it all.
Chloe, sorry, no, I'm not over this. You went to you won on the Friday, you went back to work on the Monday, and you've still got every penny.
She has her head screwed on. That's really good.
You're a savvy woman. Yeah.
Very much so.
Midlife crisis, Luke.
Oh, we've all been there.
Michelle has a question.
Yeah, just another quick one. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No, you carry on, Michelle.
So going back to you again, Chloe, with this work situation and with Luke, I can't get my head around it. But when you were shortlisted, what did you say to your employers? In fact, Luke as well. What did you say to your employers as to why you wouldn't be in work for however many weeks?
I told the director of my company the truth. Oh, you all right, Donna? And they said, you're going to ruin your life.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that you work. Don't tell them the company name, you know, because you make a fool of yourself, blah, blah. But they let me do it because they understood that, you know, if you hold people back, they wanted me to go and have the experience. But at the very last minute, I chickened out, and the lady I dealt with was called Alice. I don't know if anyone knows Alice. I can't remember her second name. I'd rang Alice and said, I can't do it right at the very last minute after filming the VT and everything. And it was the fact that they do say to you, you're not 100% an housemate, like Luke had said. So you get so far and they're still saying, oh, you might not be a housemate. And I just thought, I daren't do it. I daren't quit my job. Even though it still just is a mundane 9 to 5 in an office. I just daren't do it. And then, I don't know if she was allowed to, but she actually said, in a roundabout way, you've got a place. Just stop being a chicken, you know, you're not going to regret it, just do it. But my work, once I come out and won, they were like, "Tell them where you work when you do this."
Tell me, Chloe, I know you're not obviously in touch with Joel. Are you in touch with any of the other housemates?
I am, so we don't talk all the time. I think it's probably because I'm up north and a lot of them are down south, and it is quite a lot, you know, like Pie Face Jack is in Plymouth. Jack did come up north a few times and took me to watch his Plymouth Argyle, is it Argyle football team. Mostly through social media, so I don't, to be fair with my own friends, I don't ever sit on the phone chatting, so I don't ever rig them up, but we'll chat on social media, so Harry, Amelia, Pie Face,
Pie Face, love it.
Pie Face, yeah, sorry, yeah. So it's just kind of like, do you know the friends you have on Facebook that you've had for years and you like each other's status, right, the odd comment?
Yeah.
That's the way people keep in touch these days, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Too much hard work, you know, there's a lot of them.
Any more questions, anyone, for the guys?
Yeah.
Did either of you get really down once you've been out for a while and want to go back in?
No.
No?
No, I suppose for me, actually, the other night we watched, last night, wasn't it, Ulrika and Vern, that host was obviously the BB9 host, and then that was then celebrity version in January. So I remember watching that in 2009 and thinking, oh, it's a bit weird. They're kind of in her house, like Coolio sat on her couch. So I found that a bit strange. I was a bit like, that's my diary room chair that Ulrika sprawled all over. So I was a bit, but I didn't really want to go. I wasn't desperate to go back in. No, I don't think so. I think, I know Chloe can attest, you obviously did longer, but it's a very intense environment. And I think that even years on, I think about, aside from the old lockdown we've all just been on, or still living, it was good training going Big Brother, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Talking of the lockdown, Luke, Luke, I don't know if anyone saw on Twitter, he was doing some great locker room, diary room chats. They were very funny, Luke.
Thanks.
Put them up on your Twitter.
Thanks. Yeah, they're all still on there. If you click on that,
if anyone wants a good laugh, Luke was doing some good lockdown diary room. It was very, very funny.
It's like we've all done Big Brother on lockdown, staying on.
And that's actually why I think.
Question. Is that allowed? Am I allowed to ask you all a question?
Yeah.
How many of you guys have applied to Big Brother or would have liked to have gone in Big Brother?
In a heartbeat.
I applied for it.
In a heartbeat. I've applied for every year apart from the very first year. I've done the diary room a few times and just
you would be great. You would be great.
This came up the other night, Chloe. This came up the other night.
They should do a BBBOTS house.
If it was all you guys, I'd go in with you.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, Chloe, I've got to tell you something. I've been asked many times, would I like to have been a housemate? How many times have I applied? I've never, ever applied to be a housemate.
Wow.
Oh, really, Paul? I
absolutely.
You would have given it a go.
And everyone thinks I'm desperate to be a housemate, and I have never applied. I always say it's easier talking about the show than going in the house.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. Because some people prefer to watch it. That's true.
I always said it would be interesting. I always said it would be interesting to put us all the BBBOTS lot into the house.
Yeah.
A nightmare.
Because we all don't get on.
There'll be more rows.
The thing is,
when you're together 24/7, it's slightly different to when we just meet up in the evenings.
Yeah, but we're all one big happy family, Corinne.
Are we?
Wait, so on that note, Chloe,
we disagree.
I love you all.
Chloe, I've got a question.
Yeah, Marlon.
So, Chloe and Luke, did you ever find out what it was that they liked about you that got you onto the show? Did you ever find out what that was?
Question.
So, Sharon Powers and Phil Edgar Jones told me this at the rap party. I asked that exact same question to him. I said, so come on, what was it? What did I say? And he said, we chose you with about 20 minutes of meeting you. And I was like, put me through 6.5 months of hell. Take me to France on some Go Ape outdoors for you knew in 20 minutes. She went, well, we've got to play the game. But she said they liked the whole. I obviously at the time didn't smoke, drink or swear. At least one of those is still correct. But yeah, and they said they liked it. They thought I was quite a genuine person, and they thought because I wasn't desperate like the truckload of people I queued up with, that they thought that was quite refreshing at the time. I mean, 9 years on. So Chloe, I imagine you had very similar feedback.
Do you know what I think mine was? I think the fact that Helen Wood won the year before me and I was polar opposites to her.
Thank Christ.
Thank goodness.
Looking from, I think that worked in my favour, the fact that she just won and maybe they wanted just a girl next door kind of girl. But kind of like you said, so I'd never auditioned before. I wasn't, when I think back now, I don't know how I got on. I don't even know how I got on. We're doing backflips around the room and I'm just watching and gawping.
That's why. Chloe, I've got to ask, because I get asked this quite a bit. Who's the worst ex-housemate you've ever met?
Oh my God.
Because I've never done BOTS or anything, I think I've only ever met the housemates who I was in the house with. So I'd have to go with.
What's yours?
Oh, is that Simon we're talking about? Oh yes, yeah, he was horrendous.
So Luke, are you not one big happy Big Brother family, all the ex-housemates, Luke?
Absolutely not. No, I have said countless times, Paul, some of the worst human beings you could meet are ex-reality TV stars. And this is a controversial opinion, but I cannot tolerate Nikki Graham. I've met Nikki Graham countless occasions, spent hours in a room with Nikki Graham. She's exactly like you get on TV, and it's just too much.
Really
it's just too much, and she is everything is Nikki. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. I tell you.
I do agree at the moment.
Someone said exact same thing to me the other week when we were chatting about coming on. Just saying.
Just saying.
And who else, Luke? Any more?
I found Ulrika Johnson. In fact, I remember this story because obviously she won a week, and I did Big Brother's big quiz, and she was on the team. And I remember saying to Ulrika, I remember I was so excited because I watched Gladiators, and I thought, oh my God, she's a legend. And I remember asking for a photo, and she goes like, oh, if we have to. And I was like, that's not quite the response I was looking for. And then I said to her, oh, Ulrika, you did so well. I said, why did you do Big Brother? She said, because they begged me on Christmas Eve and they offered me £250,000 and the show was starting in 2 weeks. I was like, well, that's pretty honest at least. Yeah. I just thought she was rude. I found her very rude. But I could be here all night talking about some of the ex-husbands, so I can't stand it.
Can I have a question for Bronwyn?
I was going to say I'd love Luke to try and do my job.
Bronwyn.
Rob.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
We know that Ryland's been in the house a couple of times. With Emma, Davina, and Dermot, which one of those three, as a housemate, did you think wouldn't cope very well?
We want controversial. Are
you still there, Bronwyn?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Well, come on, they all cope really well. You've met them all. They're amazing.
Oh, sidestep the question, Bron. Be honest.
Wants a job after lockdown.
On the fence.
If I say one, I'll never work with them again.
Bron, let's put it this way. Yeah. If you were offered the chance to be a housemate, what would be your answer and why?
Good question, Rob.
My answer to what? Yes or no, you mean?
Whether you'd go in the house,
yeah. And if it is yes, why? And if it's no, why? What's your reasoning?
How many fit men are in there?
Oh. John Cross and Paul will be in there.
Would you go on Love Island?
She said
Would you go on Love Island?
No, I wouldn't work. Oh God, you can't work on it for so many years and then think about going in there. It'd be no, I couldn't.
Now, Bronwen, you're the one that probably. Do you think there's a possibility it would come back?
Great question.
I have got every finger crossed.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we all have.
You guys keep pushing. I think
Yeah.
it's not a chance.
On that though, because I've talked about this, I spoke about this actually on radio a few weeks ago when this was announced they're doing these things. I don't see what format, how it would be brought. But for example, the house has been bulldozed, so we'll need a big investment to recreate that.
Or they rent a house.
Yeah, or they rent a house.
Like
Yeah,
The Apprentice.
Big Brother. But then I think what else you got to think about is, I suppose, would it, if Channel 4 brought it back, would they justify putting it on Channel 4? Would it be E4? Would it be a celebrity-only version, which we wouldn't want, I don't think? Would we put it on celebrity?
Oh, no.
Would it do well on a
Like
streaming platform?
I think it's more likely to be a celebrity one, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think.
Denise, did you have a question?
It wasn't a question. I just really wanted to say that Luke and Chloe, I really liked your humour in the house, because there's, you know, like in some programs, there's some people you like, you don't. But you two are actually two of the people that I could say, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well done.
Well, Chloe particularly has to be the most level-headed Big Brother housemate of all time, I think.
That's right.
Would you like to be in the house together, Luke and Chloe?
I think we'd get on, you know, Luke.
You know, Chloe, where are you from?
Pardon?
Where do you live?
Doncaster.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've been to Doncaster a few times, so like, yeah, I think I live in Wigan. You know, this is live from Wigan.
Let's look at each other then, Luke.
Sorry, is this a dating site again?
This could be an exclusive.
Although I can tell you, dating after Big Brother is actually very difficult. 12 years on, if you are on dating sites and you get the same question, oh, were you in Big Brother? I watched you when I was 6. Oh, that's not quite where we're going here. That's not what I want to hear.
Luke, see, this is the difference between me and you, and how, you know, it went downhill in the end when I was on Big Brother. You get asked, were you on Big Brother? I get asked, do you work in Morrison's? All the time. All the time.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
They feel like it's how I talk, to be fair. People recognise my voice the most, and all the time. Do you work in Morrison's? No, I don't work in Morrison's.
Well, if you do, you're the most well-paid Morrison's shop employee, yeah?
Would either of you do Love Island if you had a chance?
I'm way too chubby for that.
I've met a few of the ex-Love Islanders, and I don't look anything like them. Like Kaz, Crosley, I've met a few of the other ones. I mean, frankly, Love Island it serves a very good purpose, I think, for ITV2. It's a massive money spinner, and I think that's what it is. But we should treat Love Island and Big Brother as very different shows. The comparison should not go there.
That's right.
I mean, frankly, Big Brother has not killed as many people as Love Island has. Yeah.
Well, I think on that happy note, I think we're.
Is there any more questions?
Nothing like leaving on a high, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
Full of thank yous both for coming on.
Absolutely. It's been brilliant.
It's amazing. All night. I literally could sit here all night. This is mint. If ever you're stuck and you can't get anyone else, get me back.
Come back next week.
I think tonight we can go a little bit longer, because normally it's about 30 to 35 minutes, but I think we can go another 15 minutes, yeah?
All right, go for it, Dan, if you want.
32. Yeah, I'll stay up. It's not past my bedtime.
Don't need to wait.
Can I ask a question? I thought of a question. Before you both went in, okay, you had your expectation, or you probably dreamt about what it was like to go into the Big Brother house. When you actually went in, was it completely different to the thought that you had the few days before?
So, Chloe, I don't know about you, but my first thought was when I was we told I was a housemate, so I had like literally a night to know, then think about it. And I'll never forget my first impressions when I walked straight down the stairs. Obviously, it was a 2-staircase in BB9. There was the door and it opened, and I remember instantly thinking just how small the house was.
Yeah.
Because on TV, there's such wide lens cameras. So I couldn't believe how small the house was. It was tiny compared to what you see on television.
Quite a few of us have been in the house, and it is minute. Awful.
The ceiling is so low. It's like, it's crazy.
And when you see it on the telly, like when people are whispering in the corner, you think, how can they not?
Yeah.
When
Donna,
you're
did you
actually
have
in
a
the
question?
house, it's like a minute little box. You can hear everything.
Go, Donna.
I just wanted to know how do you sleep with that many people in a room? Just how do you sleep? Do you wake up every 5 minutes, someone snoring, or getting up for the toilet? How do you manage to sleep properly? Because like everyone sleeps in their own rooms. How do you do it? It's just do you get used to it, or
does anybody remember Belinda?
Yes.
Vaguely, the woman was a rhinoceros, an absolute rhinoceros. It was honestly I remember vividly one morning Mario said to me, "Luke, I'm gonna suffocate her." Then he went on to tell me how he had previous experience of suffocating everybody because he was the expert at suffocating. I was like, sorry, Mario, you're not the expert at everything. What are you?
Mario
I loved Mario.
Health and safety inspector, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'll tell you a true story about Mario. I really wanted to stay in touch with Mario, and I tried over the years, but then when him and Lisa split up, he kind of went off the radio. He's not on social media. And a few months ago, I was walking my dog in like a woodland area in Wigan, and this guy walked past with like silver fox, Philip Schofield hair, and massive overcoat on. And I watched it. My eyesight's quite bad these days, so I didn't really see. Anyway, he stopped and shouted Luke. I was like, oh God, another one. I was like, oh, hi. And he went, no, Luke, it's Sean. I was like, who the hell's Sean? I got closer and it was Mario. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Mario. He went, it's Sean now, mate. I've retired from the media. Is that a forced retirement? What do you mean you've retired? You got retired, Mario.
Unlike Lisa, Luke, eh?
What are the chances of that? Does he actually live in your town?
So what he was, he's dating or was dating. Yeah, he's dating a girl. He lives in Warrington. He was dating a girl in Wigan. So he was saying that he's now retired from the media, and he he didn't say what he was up to. I said, oh, what are you up to these days, Mario? He went, this and that. I was like, no, I don't know. What does this and that mean? What's this?
That means nothing.
Yeah, he's uninvolved.
Porno.
Can I ask Bronwen a question, please?
Yes.
Of course you can, John.
Bronwen, you've been right through it all. Which house was your favourite house? You've been working on them all, so out of all the houses, I don't mean housemates, the house. Did you hear that?
You get all questions.
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that all right?
I think he's thinking.
No, I broke up. Which was your favourite house that you ever worked on? Not housemates, a favourite house.
Which year?
What, you mean like the decoration?
Decoration, the favourite house. The theme.
Pop art. Pop art was great, right?
Oh yeah, the theme.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I think that was my decoration.
Right, okay. I'm sorry, guys, you're breaking up right now, so.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go for the last question, Michelle.
So I was just going to jump on the back of the last question about sleeping and things like that. So when you've got like 12 or 15 housemates, how do you rota like showers, baths, toilet? And when some people go to the toilet, they go to the toilet. How do you deal with that?
I don't even remember that, to be fair.
You know, Chloe, I don't like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking we had a knock policy, I think, which is every normal person should have.
Yeah.
Because you can't lock the toilet doors, because obviously,
Oh
just
my
in case you
God.
go in there. So Big Brother obviously has the only ability to do that. So we had a knock policy, but obviously we also have Mikey, obviously, who blind Mikey, who, by the way, I just want to say is one of my best friends. We speak weekly. He's fantastic. He's doing really well. He's got a PhD now. So technically, he's a doctor. Clearly, obviously, not a medical doctor, obviously. And he needed help, I think, going to the bathroom and stuff. I mean, he was accused of urinating in a cup or the sink at many occasions. He claims he didn't. But I don't remember the bathroom that much. I
think we hung something on the door, I think we'd hang something on the door. But no, I don't remember. And it mad, it just, these massive things that you think, before you went in, I was thinking they're going to film me on the toilet. But when you're in there, I don't know, it just...
Some of them, you see them and they're all jumping in the shower together, or someone's in the shower and someone's using the loo, and you're like, oh my God, don't do that.
The glass doors, which you can see everything.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think we've got to wrap it up now. I think this has actually been our longest show, and I think that's due to Mr. Marsden, who's been brilliant, and Chloe has been fantastic as well.
I've loved it.
We've had an amazing week. I can't believe we've got so many of you ex-housemates on to our little BBBOTS audience show. I just can't believe it. What started as a little just a little thought, really. And we've done 5 great shows. We've had a lot of you guys on, and I know next week I think we've got Daniel might know, but I think we got the Fight Night legend Victor joining us.
Nice.
Is that correct? Yeah. And Rob, I believe Rob has arranged for the one and only Dame Judy James to join us one night as well.
Nice.
So, and hopefully
he wants to come on as well.
So.
And Chloe and Luke are always welcome. So just drop
absolutely. And I've got to thank you guys so much for coming on. You were brilliant.
And also thanks to you guys as well, because this is what makes the show.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, Luke. It really is. You're the best.
Yes.
You were both brilliant. Has Rob gone down? Rob's gone
way
down.
Too many pink siders now, Rob.
I think it's because I was reading up on showlove.co.uk and it's made me edgy.
Okay.
Bronwyn, thanks for coming on, Bronwyn. It was great to see you again.
Lovely to see you.
I gave you nothing. I gave you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.